Good morning. This week we're going to be reviewing main idea, which is also known as central idea. Okay? So we know that the main idea or the central idea of the story means what is the story, say it with me, mostly about. Okay? And we have a few things that can help us figure out what the main idea or the central idea is. Okay, so number one, ask yourself, what did I just read about? So after you finish reading a story or listening to a story, you can ask yourself that question and answer it in your head. What did I just read about? Number two, you can look at the title of the story. Number three, you can look at the illustrations or the pictures in the story. Number four, you can look at the clue words that are used repeatedly. So a story might use a word a few times or several times, and that might be a clue that has something to do with the main idea or the central idea of the story is. And number five, you can reread the first and the last sentences or the paragraphs. Number five is not always true. Sometimes that has nothing to do with the main idea or the central idea, but sometimes it can help. Okay? So today we're going to read a story called Tracker Dogs. You guys know I would find a story about dogs, of course. All right. So we have our table of contents here. Remember that text feature? So we have two chapters, Finding Amy and Dogs That Track and Search. Finding Amy by police reporter Tess Wheeler. The Millward family has returned home safely after a family gathering at Forest Reserve picnic ground went awry yesterday. During the outing, the Millwards became worried when they noticed 3-year-old Amy was missing. She had been sleeping in the shade while the rest of the family played games nearby. Her parents, John and Margaret, noticed that she was gone about 15 minutes later. So what do you think happened to Amy? Where do you think she went? What do you think happened to her? How do you think they're going to find her? Make that prediction in your head. When the area was searched, Amy's favorite doll was discovered on a path leading into the woods. With Amy nowhere to be seen, her parents immediately contacted the police. The police search and rescue team were the first to the scene where the doll had been found. They decided to call in a tracker dog. Officer Bray of the K9 unit arrived very quickly with his tracker dog, Judd. The dog caught Amy's scent from the doll, which had been put in a plastic bag, and on Officer Bray's command, the search started. Right away, Judd tracked the scent into the woods and led the way, with the rest of the search team following some distance behind. Unfortunately, after only a few minutes, the search ground to a halt. Judd had lost scent at Fraser's Fire Road. After sniffing the doll again and then sniffing around the area, Judd regained the scent and continued to track the lost child. We have our little map here. So this is the Forest Reserve picnic area, the parking lot, the road they were searching, and this X is where Amy went missing. Looks like Judd is working very hard to find her. Dusk had fallen by the time Amy was eventually located. She had wandered into a gully and, still tired, stopped to rest in the hollow of a tree. The search team wrapped her in blankets and carried her back to the Forest Reserve headquarters, where paramedics made sure she was okay. Police held a press conference following Amy's rescue. John Millward praised the police for their prompt action in mounting the search operation, making particular mention of the tracker dog. Thanks to the skill of the police and the K9 unit, we've been quickly reunited with Amy, he said. We are so thankful that she was found safe, and we will always remember the efforts of Judd the police dog. Good job, Judd. Okay, dogs that track and search. This is our other chapter. All dogs have an excellent sense of smell. Dogs use 10% of their brains to identify smells, whereas humans only use 1%. So they have a very, very strong sense of smell. Dogs use their sense of smell when hunting for food, sniffing out other dogs, and smelling danger. A domestic dog sniffs out a scent. A wild African dog hunts for food. It is possible to teach dogs to use their sense of smell to help people in different ways. Some dogs are taught to search for foods or other goods that people are not allowed to take from country to country. They are called detector dogs. Some dogs are taught to search for missing people, just like we saw with Amy just now. They use their sense of smell to find people lost in wild areas. They find disaster victims too. It takes many months to train dogs to search for victims in rescue situations. A rescue worker and his dog search for missing people after a fire. When a dog is searching for someone, it may be given, what do you think a dog may be given in order to help find their scent? It may be given a piece of the person's clothing or something else that has been close to their body. The dog can smell the person's scent on the clothes. The dog is then able to track this scent to search for the person. Some police dogs are trained to track and search for suspected criminals. This can be dangerous work for the police dogs, and sometimes they are injured in the line of duty. So those are very brave dogs that go to search for criminals. Tracking is also an exciting dog sport. Many different breeds of dogs are taught to track people and find personal items of clothing, such as socks or hats. Tracking clubs meet at different places. Club members learn how to teach their dogs these skills, and dogs are given rewards at the end of each search. So kind of like when you teach your dog a new trick and you give them a treat. Okay? So when dogs learn these new skills, they give them rewards to let them know they did a good job and to reinforce that behavior. Most dogs seem to enjoy using their sense of smell to track or search for people or objects. Dogs that track have saved many lives, caught many criminals, and helped hundreds of tracking club members have fun. All right, so if we are thinking of the main idea or the central idea of this story, I want you guys to click reply and type either A, B, or C. Okay, so what's the main idea or the central idea of the story Finding Amy? Is it A, tracker dogs use 10% of their brains to smell? Is it B, tracker dogs can use their sense of smell to find people and things? Or is it C, Judd the dog helped find Amy? Remember, what is the entire story mostly about? Not just one little part, but the whole thing. So I want you to comment A, B, or C. What is the main idea or the central idea of the story Finding Amy that we read? So comment below, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.